Hello, everyone, and welcome back, Abu. This is our part two of our vitamins mastery series. In the previous session, we covered vitamin B1, B2, and B3, focusing on every single energy metabolism and key deficiency syndromes related to the above discussed vitamins, right? The B1, B2, and B3. Today, we move forward into vitamin B5, B6, and B7. These are equally critical but often underappreciated. Let's quickly align. B1 is TPP, the active form that is responsible and involved in carbohydrate metabolism. B2, the active form is the FAD and FMN that is involved in redox reactions. And vitamin B3, the active form is NAD and NADP that is involved in electron transport chain, right? So today's focus shift towards coenzyme A, that is vitamin B5, amino acid metabolism that is linked with the vitamin B6, and carboxylation reaction that is linked with the B7 reaction, right? Or B7 vitamin, right? So let's start with the vitamin B5. Vitamin B5, also called as pantothenic acid and universally present uh, pentose, means everywhere. This tells you something important. The deficiency is rare, but function is fundamental, right? The active form of the vitamin B5, the coenzyme A. Uh, the biologically active form is coenzyme A, the CoA. This is central molecule in metabolism. It carries acyl groups. Without CoA, metabolism essentially stalls, right? What about the functions of vitamin B5? Uh, the key roles are fatty acid synthesis and oxidation, TC cycle or acetyl CoA formation, cholesterol and steroid synthesis. Think of B5 as a metabolic connector linking carbohydrates, fats, and proteins, right? Let's talk about the sources of vitamin B5. Uh, Widely available in liver, eggs, whole grains, vegetables. Dietary deficiency is uncommon due to widespread presence, right? What about the deficiency? Other things related to vitamin B5 deficiency. Rare, but it rare when it occurs, but fatigue, irritability, and neuromuscular syndromes or symptoms are pretty common, and especially the classic feature is the burning feet syndrome. Let's talk about the clinical importance of B5, right? CoA is involved in drug metabolism, energy production, lipid metabolism, right? So B5 indirectly influences multiple organ systems. Next is the vitamin B6. Vitamin B6 exists in multiple forms. Pyridoxine, pyridoxal, pyridoxamine, all are converted into the active form, right? What about the active form of uh, vitamin B6, the pyridoxine or pyridoxal or pyridoxamine? The active form is PLP, that is pyridoxal phosphate, right? This is a coenzyme in amino acid metabolism and extremely of high yield, right? What about the functions of vitamin B6? The major roles are the transamination, deamination, neurotransmitter synthesis, the serotonin and the GABA, heme synthesis. This makes vitamin B6 critical in brain and blood, right? So let's talk about the role in neurotransmitter synthesis, right? PLP, that is the pyridoxal phosphate, that is essential for the serotonin formation, dopamine, and GABA. Deficiency leads to neurological symptoms. Now, the sources of vitamin B6. Uh, B6 or the vitamin B6 is present in meat, fish, bananas, whole grain, and as you know, the balanced diet usually covers all the requirements related to the B6 vitamin, right? As you can see on your screen, that that showing the major sources of vitamin B6. What about the properties? Let's have a look on the properties of vitamin C link, and the properties are water soluble, reasonably heat stable, sensitive to high temperatures, oxygen milling and processing. And the recommended daily allowance is 2 mg per day. What about the deficiency of vitamin B6? Key features are seizures due to the decreased levels of GABA, peripheral neuropathy, microcytic anemia, and the important key point is that it is seen in deficiency is seen in patients taking isoniazid, that is anti-tuberculosis drug, right? So, what about the clinical correlation related to isoniazid toxicity? Isoniazid inhibits PLP, pyridoxal phosphate function, that leads to its deficiency. That's why B6 supplementation is mandatory in TB or anti-tuberculosis drugs. What about the toxicity related to the vitamin B6? The excess intake can cause sensory neuropathy, right? So even water-soluble vitamins are not completely risk-free. And the toxicity symptoms may include the depression, fatigue, irritability, headaches, nerve damage, and maybe causing numbness and muscle weakness, leading to an inability to walk, and convulsions and skin lesions are pretty common in case of vitamin B6 deficiency. So next is the vitamin B7, right? B7 or the biotin is crucial for carboxylation reaction. It acts as a co-carbon dioxide carrier. So what about let's talk about the sources of vitamin B7. That major sources are the animal sources, the organ meats, egg yolk, fish. The plant sources include soybean, whole grains, and one of the property of that is linked with the biotin deficiency or the biotin that is heat stable, right? Let's talk about the functions of biotin in a quick session, right? Biotin is involved in gluconeogenesis, fatty acid synthesis, and amino acid metabolism, right? The key enzymes are pyruvate carboxylase and acetyl-CoA carboxylase, right? What about the deficiency of vitamin B7? That is very rare, but very important. The dermatitis, alopecia, that is loss of hair, and the depression. These are the features that is involved in with the deficiency of vitamin B7, right? Classic cause, that is raw egg consumption, right? So let's talk about the mechanism involved in the deficiency of B7 that's linked with the raw egg consumption, right? Raw egg whites contain avidin protein, right, which binds biotin and prevents its absorption. So cooking denatures avidin, so this is preventable, right? As you can see on the screen, the biotin deficiency related to the alopecia. The alopecia is of generalized type, right? As you can see on your screens, after the consumption of, after supplementation of the 3 weeks with the biotin, the rats get, normal hair pattern, right? So let's summarize this session, right? Uh, let's consolidate in this way. B5, that is linked with the CoA and that is involved in the central metabolic pathways, right? That is the center or the heart of all the metabolic pathways, right? And the B6, the active form is the PLP, that is pyridoxal phosphate, and that is linked with the amino acids and neurotransmitter synthesis, right? Especially the GABA and the serotonin, right? Let's talk about the B7, that is biotin, and that is linked with the carboxylation reaction. So each vitamin has a distinct biochemical identity and clinical signature, right? So in next session, in next lecture, that would be part 3, we will cover the vitamin B9, that is folate, vitamin B12, that is cobalamin, and the last category, that is non-B complex vitamin, that is vitamin C, the ascorbic acid. This will complete the water-soluble vitamin spectrum, right? You're building a strong conceptual framework. Stay consistent, right? Biochemistry becomes easy when you connect pathways with clinical outcomes. If you find this session valuable, like the video, share with your colleagues, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you once again.